Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I wanted to share 5 tools to help you create regular and edible templates that you could start selling on Etsy and start generating passive income. So if you have thought about selling digital products on Etsy, but don't know what tools to use to create edible or digital goods, then this video is for you. So make sure that you watch all the way to the end. Now, if this is your first time also visiting my YouTube channel and you want to learn how to grow an impactful online business, don't forget to subscribe today. Don't forget to show me some love by liking this video and leaving a comment below. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the 5 tools that I'm going to be talking about today, I actually have used 4 of them. So I'm very familiarized with these tools. And I wanted to give you different options based on your experience and your level of using different softwares out there. So the first one I wanted to talk about is Canva. I always do videos on Canva because it is really simple to use. They let you create beautiful designs. They have a drop and drag feature that is very simple to use. It's stress-free. It doesn't really require any skills to use Canva. And you can make beautiful prints or edible files that you can start selling on Etsy today. Now, keep in mind that if you do start selling edible files using Canva, you need to have the Canva Pro in order to do so. And I highly recommend that anytime you sell an edible file, you make a copy of the design and then you share it to your customers. This helps your original template not to get damaged or people make changes and then you're not able to have the original one. So anytime you create an edible file on Canva, you want to make sure that you make a copy of that file and you sell the customer the copy, not the original, because any changes they make to that file, it will also transfer to your file. And that's the reason why you want to make sure you make a copy. Site number 2 that I wanted to talk about is template. Now, this is another great tool that you could start using to create edible templates that you could sell on Etsy. And you can create a digital shop where you could start making passive income right away, like I just said a few minutes ago, by just selling edible files that the customer actually edits themselves. Now, keep in mind that creating edible files, it does have a little bit of work in the upfront of it. So when you are creating it, it does take time. But once you create that file, you can sell it 1,000 times, which is the nice thing about it. And the only thing that you will have to do once you get your store acclimated, you have all your listings in there. All you have to do is spend a couple hours a week just answering messages, marketing, and possibly adding a couple new templates per month. And that's all you have to do. And you will make passive income. So it's very, very simple. They make it very easy to use. I highly recommend checking them out. The lowest package is $29 a month for unlimited items that you could list. So I would highly recommend checking out Template. Their competitor is the next one that I'm going to talk about, which is Corel. And Corel is pretty much the same way as Template. There is no waiting for the digital item or personalized products or any proofs. You don't got to go back and forth with customers about, can you change this? Can you make this a different color? Can you edit this? Can you change the wording again? You don't have to do that because the customer can edit quickly on their mobile device. They could edit it on their computer. Using this tool is very simple and it eliminates messaging, emailing, and like I just mentioned, all these constant changes and proofs, etc. So this is another cool website to check out. The pricing, I never use Corel, so let's see the pricing really quick, just to have an idea of the cost. And they're a little bit higher than, well, I guess you could start with their lowest plan, which is $7.99. They have $15.99 and then $39.99. And this seems like it's for the stores that have higher volume. So if you are a starter, you could start with one of these two right here. From the looks of it, it probably sounds better to do the $15.99. So that's not too bad. And especially once you start making money this is part of the game. You have to spend money to make money. And you might think, oh, well, I don't want to pay $15 a month. But if you're making, let's say, an extra $600 from your digital store every month, what's $15 to pay? And you're not doing additional work either, besides creating new products that you're adding to your store. So it is worth the $15. The next site I wanted to talk about is Adobe Acrobat, a DC. Now, this is like old school. This is how I used to create editable templates back in the day when Template or Canva or Corel wasn't around. This is what I used to use. And it's still it's still real popular at this moment. So you could personally use it for wedding invites. You could use it to create planners. There is a monthly fee of $9.99. But the nice thing also is that when the customer buys from you from any of these sites, when they buy from you, the editable template, they get it and then they're able to edit for free from their end. So the customer doesn't pay anything to edit these files, whether they buy from Template, Canva, Corel, or Adobe Acrobat. So just keep that in mind. But now this one does have a little bit of a learning curve. I actually have a video on how to use it on my YouTube channel if you were interested. It does have a little bit of a learning curve, in my opinion. It took me a while in the beginning to kind of get used to it. The other three are a little bit easier to follow, but I wanted to throw it in there because this is one of the cheapest you're going to find out there for $9.99. And then the last one is Photoshop. I absolutely love Photoshop. I use Canva and Photoshop. Those are the two that I use mostly for just everything I do online. Now, Photoshop, you're able to create an editable file, you're able to save it, and then when you sell it to the customer, you send them the actual PSD file. You don't have to make a copy of it or anything. You don't have to worry about the customer opening the file, doing changes, and then it makes the changes to yours. It's a little bit different than Canva. And with Photoshop, what is really cool about it is that you could do pretty much anything your imagination takes it, right? You could do any changes to the file. You could literally change, you could add photos, there's so much you could do with Adobe Photoshop. The only issue with it is that it does have a learning curve. So for majority of people, if they never used it, they might not want to buy a Photoshop file. What I recommend is that if you ever sell these on Etsy, make sure that you have a disclaimer that people know right away that if they buy this, obviously there's no refund because of the nature of a digital download, but that they know that they're buying a Photoshop file, because for majority of people, it would be too hard for them to even try to edit the file and even get it working. So just keep that in mind. However, with that said, with Photoshop, you could pretty much do any type of change. There's no restrictions. So that's why I wanted to include it. What I do recommend you as a seller is that whenever you sell any files using Photoshop, make sure that your graphics, the ones that you purchase with licensing, that they're flattened down. You don't want customers to steal the graphics from you and start using it for their own personal projects or for other things, because you pay for the licensing, they didn't. So just make sure that you do that. And then everything else will be editable, like they're able to change the shape, the layers, mask, effects, and anything else that you added to that particular file. But these are like my 5 top tools that I recommend if you're thinking of starting a digital store on Etsy, and if you're thinking of creating a store that you make passive income. Like I said in the beginning, passive income is basically you make money with little amount of effort. But keep in mind that when you first start the store, and you first start adding digital prints or artwork to your store, that does take quite some time to do. After you finish and your store is acclimated and you have all your listings and you feel good about it and you start generating money every month, then the update or the maintenance of it is a lot less. Obviously, you do want to still add more templates, maybe 5 to 10 per month, just so you can keep growing your store, but it will be very minimal work. And there's no shipping costs. The overhead is very, very cheap. You'll make a lot of money with digital prints. So something to keep in mind if you wanted to open your first store as a digital print store, or maybe you're trying to do like a second store for passive income as a digital print. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions, and thank you so much for watching.